Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tune on in, man. I'm working on limited time, but we gonna get the information in nonetheless. Hopefully, everybody is having a powerful Monday. So give everybody a chance to tap in with your boy, man, before we really start building on the subject matter for the day. Having a powerful Monday. Magic Realms, peace. What's going on with you, man? How you feeling? How you living? How you holding up, man? Hopefully everybody holding up pretty well on this wonderful Monday, man. We got some information that we need to build on. So hopefully everything is going good. Trying to get my computer situated on my end. Y'all know how I go. We bringing the information to the table, man. We bringing the information. We bringing the truth to the table, man. Because again, we like to build on the truth. We like to destroy the myths. We build on what's right and exact. We build on the facts. We destroy what's fiction. Terenzo, peace. What's going on, my brother? Jamar, what's going on with y'all? Magic Realms, everything is good my way. Everything is peaceful. Just staying centered, balanced, maintaining, elevating all at the same time, man. It's good. Today is April the 5th, man. So in mathematical terms, we dealing with power today. We dealing with power. That's why I'm giving you this powerful information. Power and refinement, man. Y'all already know how we define refinement. That's to cleanse oneself mentally and physically. This information that I'm providing with you all should be utilized to cleanse your mental and cleanse the physical. Maze, Andronicus, what's going on? Just giving y'all further reasons why you need to stay away from the meat. This is what this video is all about. Beautiful Goddess Keys, Peace Queen, what's going on? Like I was doing some simple knowledge, man, some simple reading, just going over some notes, man. That's what I tend to do from time to time, just go over notes out of books that I've read. And the book that inspired the thought for the day, I've recommended this book plenty of times, but if you haven't gotten it yet, go ahead and grab this joint, How Not to Die. This book is powerful in regards to just nutrition and how to go plant-based and why it's important that we go plant-based. This book lays it down. It gives you all the facts, gives you the information, gives you the data, the statistics, all of that good stuff, man. So How Not to Die is a very powerful book. Wisdom, what's going on? Andronicus, man, everything is peaceful my way, man. Maintain it, stand elevated. Maze, I say stay away from the seafood, stay away from the fish. That's contrary to what everybody will tell you, but the studies are out there, man. The information is out there, and it's not really biased. I mean, that's if that's the route that you have to take. Like if you need to eat some form of meat, then fish is the best form to eat. All the other forms are more destructive. But eventually and essentially, you want to work your way off of the fish. But if you're trying to transition, then the seafood and fish is a good way to transition into the vegan vegetarian lifestyle, which is what you should strive to do and what you should strive to aim towards. But if you need to consume some form of meat, then fish is the best form. It is the best form, but I don't even recommend fish like that because of the mercury, man, PCBs and all of that good stuff, man. It's laced. You're dealing with the most contaminated food source when you're dealing with the fish because of how polluted the ocean is. So they have intentionally polluted the ocean. Then they feed us the fish, the creatures out of the ocean. So we got to understand that they are also ingesting the pollution. So you gotta watch out, man. That fish can be contaminated. So I would never overload on the fish. And that's what people tend to do that transition to the pescatarian lifestyle. They tend to eat fish like every day. That's never healthy. No form of meat should be eaten every day. If you eat meat, then it should be eaten every other day. You got to give your body time to digest the meat. So you should be eating meat every other day. They call that a flexitarian. So if you need to consume meat, it would be best to do it under the flexitarian circumstances or under flexitarian circumstances, meaning that you eat meat every other day. You don't eat it every day. So that's the way that I would recommend consuming any form of meat. Do it every other day, be a flexitarian. And you definitely just want to lay off the dairy products if you can. But I definitely recommend taking the flexitarian route if you feel like you can't let go of the meat, which you can let go of the meat. It's just a feeling, man. but you can let go of the meat. You can let go of all forms of meat and dairy. It's easy. It's all mental at this point, all programming. CEO, NYHD, peace. What's going on? Terrence, what's going on with you? MCJ Rocker, what's the word? Peace. Like I said, today is the 5th, man. So we dealing with power and refinement. So we coming with powerful information that you should utilize to cleanse your mental and cleanse the physical. Cleanse the mental and cleanse the physical. I already brought up the book for the day, which is How Not to Die. Put it back in the screen for those who didn't see it. How Not to Die, man. This book got a lot of powerful information in it, man. So I recommend reading it, especially if you're striving to transition to the more plant-based lifestyle, man. It's important to read this book. This is one of the go-to books, man. But I was just going back doing the knowledge tip book, and it's chapter 5 in this book. I'm going to treat this like Bible scriptures in here, man. We had chapter 5, How Not to Die from Infections. So I was going over this chapter, man, and I noticed I highlighted something. And I'm going to read the whole paragraph in which I highlighted. This important point. This whole paragraph is important. I want y'all to realize how us tampering with nature, how us messing with the animals has created a toxic environment for us. We didn't went out, we messing with the animals. Animals ain't doing nothing but minding their business. But us trying to domesticate the animals and eat the animals and things of that nature then created a multitude of problems, which has led to a very toxic environment for us when all the animals were doing were minding their business. But I'm going to read a paragraph from this particular book from chapter 5. So once you get the book, you go to chapter 5, and here we go. It says humanity's dominion over animals has unleashed a veritable Pandora's ark of infectious diseases. Most modern human infectious diseases were unknown. Listen to that. Most modern human infectious diseases were unknown before domestication led to a mass spillover of animal disease into human populations. So we're going to go back to that. Most modern human infectious diseases were unknown before domestication led to a mass spillover. Got to understand what we're talking about, man. The stuff was unknown until we start messing with the animals. That's what's happening. That's what that's saying. All right. For example, tuberculosis appears to have been originally acquired through the domestication of goats, but now infects nearly 1/3 of humanity. I'm going to reread that. For example, tuberculosis appears to have been originally acquired through the domestication of goats, but now infects nearly 1/3 of humanity. Meanwhile, measles and smallpox may have arisen from mutant cattle viruses. Let me reread that one. Meanwhile, measles and smallpox may have arisen from mutant cattle viruses. And you cannot fact check this, man. So this is all, you can fact check it. You can look it up. Don't just take it off face value. Definitely can fact check it. Definitely can find articles that corroborate what's being read right now. So and then let me go on. We domesticated pigs and got whooping cough. We domesticated chickens and got typhoid fever. And we domesticated ducks and got influenza. So there you go. Listen, we domesticated ducks and got influenza. So we domesticated the ducks, and they tell you they linked the flu virus to birds. So this is common knowledge. The flu virus has always been linked to birds. So they say we domesticated the ducks and we got the flu virus. So we weren't necessarily suffering from the flu virus. Now the flu virus is normal. It's normal for a human to walk around with the flu. That's normal. But this wasn't normal back in the day. Wasn't normal back in the day until we started tampering with the birds, until we started tampering with the ducks. The flu was not something that we was normally having to deal with. We got to understand that. So we domesticated ducks and got influenza. Leprosy may have come from water buffalo and the cold virus from horses. Listen, the common cold from horses. The common cold wasn't something that was normal. It wasn't something that was natural back in the day. The common cold derived from horses. Do the knowledge to it. Do the knowledge to it. I'm giving y'all homework. Do the knowledge to everything I'm saying right now. And the articles that y'all gonna pull up gonna be crazy. Just do the knowledge to this. Just common cold horses. Just do the knowledge to it. And watch the articles that come up, man. It's gonna be crazy. It say, how often did wild horses have the opportunity to sneeze into humans' faces until they were broken and brittle? Before then, the common cold was presumably common only to them. I'm gonna reread that, man. The cold virus from horses. How often did wild horses have the opportunity to sneeze into humans' faces until they were broken and brittle? Before then, the common cold was presumably common only to them. Common cold was common to the wild horses, not to humans. If you say that in 2021, people will look at you like you are crazy. People will look at you like you are crazy. Why? Because we have been suffering from the common cold since we can remember. But we got to understand that this common cold had to come from somewhere. It had its origin somewhere. And here goes the origin. Here goes the origin. Do the knowledge to it. This is not something that we making up here. Do the knowledge to it. This can be corroborated. We can pull up plenty of articles, man. We can pull up. All you got to do is look it up. Matter of fact, I can do it for you. I can do it for you. Give me a second here. Give me a second, man. We could just pull up an article, man. I found a lot of articles. I found a lot of articles in regards to everything that I had just read. So let me see if I can find one of those articles and read it to you all, man. Let me see what I can get here. Let me see what I can find. Let me see which article I want to read, man. Because like I said, we got a lot. We got a lot. And it's crazy because, again, all you got to do is research it. All you got to do is research it. But again, a lot of people don't like to do that. A lot of people don't like to research. And that's the crazy thing about it. A lot of us do not like to research. So let me see. I think I found one that I can read to y'all real quick. Magic Realms, man, is very interesting. It's very interesting. When I was doing the knowledge tool, like I said, this is a book that I had, I read it multiple times. Like I read over this multiple times, but it just like randomly resonated with me. Yeah, it's a look at one. Science Daily. Common cold viruses originated in camels. Like that's crazy. Which is further corroborating it. So y'all can look that up. Science Daily. They got one talking about the common cold virus originating in the camels. That's a nice article. Then you got another one with the same type of headline, Infection Control Today. It's also a pretty solid article talking about the same thing. Like here go a little quote. It say, in our MRES investigations, we examined about 1,000 camels for coronaviruses and were surprised to find pathogens that are related to, which is HCOV229E, the human common cold virus, in almost 6% of the cases. And then it says, okay, it says Drosten, further comparative molecular genetic analysis of common cold viruses in bats, humans, and dromedary suggests that this common cold virus was actually transmitted from camels to humans. So listen to what we said here. In our MERS investigations, we examined about 1,000 camels for coronaviruses and were surprised to find pathogens that are related to HCOV229E, the human common cold virus, in almost 6% of the cases, says Drosten. Further comparative molecular genetic analysis of common cold viruses in bats, humans, and dromedaries suggests that this common cold virus was actually transmitted from camels to humans. Drosten and his team isolated live camel common cold viruses and discovered that these could principally also enter human cells via the same receptor used by the common cold virus HCOV229E. So that's just one. That's just one little article that's letting you know where the common cold originated. Yeah, Ms. Donnie, transmitted is key word, which lets you know it was some foul play. Because like this book said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the end of this. I'm going to read the end of this paragraph. It say, how often did wild horses have the opportunity to sneeze into humans' faces? So that's letting you know, transmitted. Like the horses wasn't out here just sneezing in the face of a human on a regular basis, transmitting or passing on the common cold. No, we were out here tampering with these animals, and that's how it was transmitted. And a lot of times it wasn't just transmitted from us domesticating them. Y'all already know how we create viruses in a lab. So we was taking some of these animals, putting them in the lab, taking the blood from the animal, then transmitting that blood into the blood of a human. And then that's how you got a lot of other diseases. We ain't gonna talk about HIV because we've already discussed that, but we already know how that go. We already know how that go. That's why it's really not safe to be eating a lot of this meat, a lot of these dairy products. Man, I could just read this whole entire freaking chapter and let you know why you should not be eating a lot of the dairy products and a lot of the meat out here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna read some more here, man. I'm gonna read some more. Man, because I feel like this is important information, man. I feel like we really need to take control of our health, and I feel like this information is pivotal. This information is critical, and this is the information that they're not gonna put out here. They don't want this information to get out here, man, because again, if this information were to get out here, the world would be a much better place, a much healthier place, and a much more peaceful place. So we gonna let me see. All right, here we go. I'm gonna read this right here. Listen. One of the reasons animal foods are the leading culprits is that and this is talking about food poisoning. So let me backtrack. This is talking about food poisoning. One of the reasons animal foods are the leading culprits is that most foodborne pathogens are fecal pathogens because plants don't poop. The E. coli you may get from spinach didn't actually originate in the spinach. E. coli is an intestinal pathogen, and spinach doesn't have intestines. So again, that's the reason why you get a lot of the food poison from the animal-based products. Now let's talk about, y'all already know about salmonella. Y'all, we already know about that. But I'm gonna talk about salmonella in regards to poultry, in regards to chicken. Why am I focusing on chicken? Because a lot of people think if they eat the chicken, then they are doing something right, along with eggs. That's why I like to focus on eggs, chicken, and fish from time to time. Because a lot of people think if they eating eggs, they eating healthy. They think if they eating chicken, they eating healthy. And they think if they eating fish, they are eating healthy. But a lot of times, those foods are more destructive than we know. So we're gonna read this. It say eating chickens, not their eggs, is actually the most common source of salmonella poisoning. Eating chickens, not their eggs, is actually the most common source of salmonella poisoning. A nationwide outbreak of a particularly virulent strand of the bacteria was linked to our sixth largest poultry producer, Foster Farms. It lasted from March 2013 until July 2014. Why did the outbreak last so long? It was largely because the company continued to churn out contaminated chicken despite repeated warnings from the CDC. So listen, why did the outbreak last so long? It was largely because the company continued to churn out contaminated chicken. They were giving y'all contaminated chicken intentionally, despite the warnings from the CDC. Though the official tally of cases numbered only in the hundreds, the CDC estimates that for every confirmed case of salmonella, another 38 slipped through the cracks. So listen, though the official tally of cases numbered only in the hundreds, the CDC estimates that for every confirmed case of salmonella, another 38 slipped through the cracks. So come on now, let's listen to what we're saying. Woo, that's crazy. This means Foster Farms chicken may have sickened more than 10,000 people. When U.S. Department of Agriculture officials went in to investigate, they found that 25% of the chickens they sampled were contaminated with the same strand of salmonella, likely the result of fecal matter found on the chicken carcasses. Yeah. When U.S. Department of Agriculture officials went in to investigate, they found that 25% of the chickens they sampled were contaminated with the same strand of salmonella, likely the result of fecal matter found on the chicken carcasses. Like, this is what we are consuming. This is what we are consuming. And then we're going to continue to read. Mexico banned the importation of Foster Farms chicken, but in the United States, it remained available throughout the country. When a car manufacturer's brakes malfunction, it announces a recall due to safety concerns. Why hasn't salmonella-tainted chicken been recalled? The U.S. Department of Agriculture once tried to shut down a company to be repeatedly violating salmonella standards. The company sued and won. DJ Elmo, peace, what's going on? Let me repeat that. The U.S. Department of Agriculture once tried to shut down a company found to be repeatedly violating salmonella standards. So they tried to shut down the company that was violating the salmonella standards. Guess what? The company sued and the company won. Because normal cooking practices for meat and poultry destroyed the salmonella organism, the judges in the case concluded the presence of salmonella in meat products does not render them injurious to health. This is what they, this is how they justified it, and this is how the company won the suit. Because normal cooking practices for meat and poultry destroy the salmonella organism, the judges in the case concluded the presence of salmonella in meat products does not render them injurious to health. If proper cooking kills the bug, then why do hundreds of thousands of Americans continue to be sickened by salmonella-containing poultry every year? It's not like E. coli and medium rare hamburgers who undercooks chicken. Prime is who undercooks chicken. The problem here is cross-contamination. Between the time the fresh or frozen bird is picked up from the store and when it's slid into the oven, the germs on the chicken can contaminate hands, utensils, and kitchen surfaces. So let me repeat that. The problem here is cross-contamination. Between the time the fresh or frozen bird is picked up from the store and when it's slid into the oven, the germs on the chicken can contaminate hands, utensils, and kitchen surfaces. Studies have shown that up to 80% of the time placing fresh chicken on a cutting board for a few minutes can transfer disease-causing bacteria. We worried about COVID. We worried about coronavirus. Meanwhile, the chicken that you putting on your cutting board is more destructive and more harmful. So we wearing a mask, but we still cutting up the chicken that contains some deadly bacteria, disease-causing bacteria. Come on, let me read that again. Studies have shown that up to 80% of the time, placing fresh chicken, this is fresh chicken, placing fresh chicken on a cutting board for a few minutes can transfer disease-causing bacteria. Then if you put cooked chicken back on the same cutting board, there's about a 30% chance that the meat will become recontaminated. How many people you know do this? I know a lot of people. And then it says Foster Farms' tone-deaf response to the outbreak may actually prove the most foresighted. It is not unusual for raw poultry. It is not unusual for raw poultry from any producer to have salmonella bacteria. They quoted in a press release. Consumers must use proper preparation, handling, and cooking practices. So they already letting you know that the salmonella bacteria is in the chicken. You got to use proper preparation, handling, and cooking practices. In other words, it should be considered normal for chicken to be contaminated with salmonella. Eat at your own risk. This is like, listen to what I just read, man. I'm going to read this again to y'all, for those of you all that eat chicken. Listen to what this is saying. Listen, it is not unusual for raw poultry, which is the chicken, from any producer, to have salmonella bacteria. So it's not unusual. It's not unusual for the chicken that you buy from any producer to have the salmonella bacteria. They quoted in a press release, consumers must use proper preparation, handling, and cooking practices. So if you don't use proper preparation, handling, and cooking practices, then there you go. Salmonella. Eat at your own risk. Eat at your own risk is what this is basically saying. So when you consume a chicken, when you consume any form of meat and dairy, you eating at your own risk. And this is just a fact. This is just a fact. They don't want you to know that, but that's what you do. Well, they told you. They put the truth right in your face here. This is coming from a chicken producer, Foster Farms. They let you know it's not unusual for the raw poultry to have the salmonella bacteria. So they letting you know that right in your face. Let me see what else I can find. Let me read this, man. It says the contamination problem extends far beyond a single poultry producer. In a 2014 issue of Consumer Reports, researchers published a study on the true cost of cheap chicken. Lindell, Peach, what's going on? They discovered that 97% of chicken breasts, 97% of chicken breasts found in retail stores were contaminated with bacteria that could make people sick. And again, we worried about COVID. We walking around with masks. We afraid to get up close and personal with people. But then the chicken that you buying, 97% of the chicken breasts found in retail stores were contaminated with bacteria that can make people sick. But we walking around with masks. The whole while we walking around with the mask, we buying this chicken that can make you sick. We buying a pork that can make you sick. But we walking around with masks afraid of people. Come on now. You walking around with masks afraid of people, but then you buying this chicken that's making you just as sick. Come on now. 38% of the salmonella they found was resistant to multiple antibiotics. The CDC considers such pathogens to be a serious public health threat. Come on now. Listen to what we saying, man. This ain't something we making up. It's actual facts. Actual facts. Listen, as the Mayo Clinic rather indelicately put it, most people are infected with salmonella by eating foods that have been contaminated by feces. I'm going to repeat that. Most people are infected with salmonella by eating foods that have been contaminated by feces. How does it get there? In slaughter plants, birds are typically gutted by a metal hook, which too often punctures their intestines and can expel feces onto the flesh itself. Listen to what I just said. Listen to what I just said. With the people that eat chicken, if this doesn't gross you out and make you want to stop eating the chicken, then I don't know what's wrong with you. You have problems. Most people are infected with salmonella by eating foods that have been contaminated by feces. How does it get there? In slaughter plants, birds are typically gutted by a metal hook, which too often punctures their intestines and can expel feces onto the flesh itself. According to the latest National FDA Retail Meat Survey, about 90% of retail chicken showed evidence of contamination with fecal matter. Listen to what we saying, man. About 90% of retail chicken show evidence of contamination with fecal matter. And matter of fact, I'm gonna keep going on chicken. I'm gonna keep going on chicken, man, because chicken is something we all need to lay off of. People don't want to hear it though. But listen to this though. Here goes some more for people that suffer from urinary tract infections, bladder infections. Here we go. Here's some information for you. The reason why you may be suffering from the UTI is because of chicken, and you may not have even known it. Ain't nobody tell you. But where do bladder infections come from? Back in the 1970s, studies of women over time found that movement of bacteria from rectum into the vaginal area preceded the appearance of bladder infections. It took another 25 years, though, before DNA fingerprinting techniques provided that E. coli strains reside in the gut serve as the reservoir for urinary tract infection. Another 15 years passed before scientists tracked down the ultimate culprit, the original source of some of the UTI-associated bacteria in the rectum, chicken. McGill University researchers were able to capture UTI-causing E. coli at the slaughter plants, tracing them to the meat supply, and eventually to urinary specimens obtained from infected women. As a result, we now have direct proof that bladder infections can be a zoonosis, an animal to human disease. Listen to that. We now have direct proof that bladder infections can be a zoonosis, an animal to human disease. They not out here telling us that. This is a critical discovery since UTIs affect more than 10 million women each year in the United States. Something that affects 10 million women. They not let you know that the cause of it can be the chicken that most of these 10 million women are consuming. Listen, This is a critical discovery since UTIs affect more than 10 million women each year in the United States at the cost of more than $1 billion. $1 billion. Even worse, it turns out that many of the strands of E. coli and chicken that cause UTIs are now resistant to some of our most powerful antibiotics. So now, it turns out that many of the strands of E. coli in the chicken that cause UTI, they are now resistant to the antibiotics that they prescribe to you. So the chicken is causing a UTI, and now it has become resistant to the antibiotics. So they're going to continue to give you stronger dosages when that dosage don't work. They're just going to give you a stronger dosage. Whole while the chicken has become resistant to it. So it's just not going to work because the chicken is resistant to the antibiotics. So the more you continue to eat chicken, the more you're going to suffer from the UTI. So come on now. I don't know how much more evidence we be needing out here to stay away from the animals, man, to stay away from them. It's so much evidence out here. It's so many diseases, ailments, and all of that that's linked to the consumption of animals. Period. Just it's all like all you gotta do is just look it up. All you gotta do is just look it up. It's all out here. It's all out here. Oh, beautiful goddess keys. That's 100% right and exact. That happened to me. The moment you reintroduce some of that toxic nonsense back into your life, like you'll be out. I was out for the count one time, man. When I first transitioned, man, somebody got me. I went to a function and ate some chili. And they told me that it wasn't any meat in the chili. Come to find out it was meat in the chili. Man, I was sick for like a week. And that was when I first transitioned to the vegetarian lifestyle. Man, I was out for like a week, man. My stomach was not going for that. My digestive system was not going for that. So that's the easy way to show and prove that this stuff is destructive for us. If you want to experiment with yourself, if you want to sacrifice yourself, go ahead and do it. Eliminate chicken, eliminate pork, eliminate beef for a minute, then reintroduce it back into your life and see how you respond to it. Eliminate eggs from your regimen, then reintroduce it and see how your body responds. Telling you your body not gonna like it. Your body not gonna like it. Lindell, most definitely. And that's why obesity, like I'm gonna put this comment by Lindell on the screen because it's important. Not to mention the steroid mechanisms used for growth. This is important. The reason why that is important is because of all of the steroids that they are lacing or injecting into these animals. That's the reason why obesity is continuing to skyrocket. It was a section in this book called Eat Obesity and Becoming Obese or something along those lines. So they are fattening up these animals, and that's essentially making us bigger. That's essentially making us more obese. So they are making the animals obese that we are consuming, and that's also leading to an increased obesity rate in this particular country. So we got to watch that, man. They lacing these animals with all type of steroids, all type of antibiotics, and we are consuming all of that. We are becoming a reflection, as they say, you are what you eat. We are becoming a reflection of everything they are injecting into these animals. So back in the day, even when they ate meat, we got to understand when people start saying, well, back in the day, people ate meat, people ate animals. They ate them in a way different form than we are eating them currently. So they were not eating they wasn't eating a genetically modified and overly processed version of the chicken. They weren't eating the steroid version of the chicken that we are consuming today. So it's a lot different. We can't compare the chicken of today to the chicken 200 years from now. Whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. They wasn't lacing the chicken up with steroids. They wasn't doing that. They were not doing that. We lacing the chicken up, we lacing the cow up, we lacing them all up with antibiotics, steroids, and a bunch of other things. So it's a whole different ball game. The quality of the meat is terrible, destructive, disease-ridden. So we got to understand that. We got to understand that. Dominique, man, we going to get you to convert over. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Beautiful goddess keys. That, like I said, that's what led to my transition. When I watched that slaughterhouse video, I was sick to my stomach. And it was more so the condition of the slaughterhouse. Man, that slaughterhouse was so dirty, just unsanitary. It was gross. I'm like, man, no. Unsanitary, unclean, just terrible. The condition of the slaughterhouse was terrible. Terrible. You ever saw a slaughterhouse documentary, or if you ever been to a slaughterhouse in person, trash, terrible. Like the condition. That's terrible. That is not, listen, I don't want to eat anything that comes from that. Akuma, man, you got it. You got it. You're going to get there. Icky's raising, you said, are boiled brown eggs okay and cage free from local farms? Man, I would say no to eggs, period. I would say no to eggs, period. Because what tends to happen, like I said, with a lot of these things, we tend to overly consume them. And the eggs can impact your cholesterol, especially when you overdo it. DJ Elmo, no doubt. No doubt, man. It's too much evidence out here, man. They letting you know that a lot of the diseases, a lot of the ailments, the sicknesses, the infections, the virus, a lot of all of it, a lot of this that we suffer from comes directly from animals. As Ms. Donnie said, transmitted. How can it be transmitted, man? We tampering with the animals. We trying to domesticate the animals. When in reality, we shouldn't even be consuming the animals in the first place. We not designed to be consuming meat. A lot of people want to debate that. A lot of people want to argue that, but we not designed to consume the meat. If you design to consume the meat, let's go out into the wild, right? And let's go hunt down that pig. And let's just go devour that pig after we hunt it down. We ain't made like that. We ain't designed like that. We got to shoot the pig with a device. And then we got to prepare the pig. We got to cook the pig. We got to do things like that. That ain't how nature operates. That ain't how nature operates. That ain't how nature operates, man. So we not designed to be consuming these animals. We not designed to be consuming meat. This has been proven. It's been proven, but it hasn't been accepted. People don't accept it. That's the thing. It's been proven, but it hasn't been accepted. Like I said, a lot of people don't want to accept their reality. A lot of people don't want to accept that fact. And the crazy thing about it is a lot of people criticize it. A lot of the people that criticize it haven't even experimented with a plant-based lifestyle. So if you've never experimented with a plant-based, vegan, alkaline, whatever lifestyle you want to deal with, if you have never experimented with it, how can you criticize? I can criticize eating meat because I used to do. I did it for 19, 20 years. That's all I was eating. So I can criticize it because I lived that life out. I lived that reality out. So people don't understand that. People don't understand that at all. Like, I feel like I'm qualified to criticize meat the way that I do because, like I said, I was consuming meat and I had a bunch of ailments. I'm 18, I'm 17, high blood pressure, like nosebleeds that I can't explain. Respiratory system, all garbage, man. Bronchitis, asthma, all of this type of stuff. All of this type of stuff I'm suffering from, and I'm a youngin'. I'm talking about dental issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I had cavities. I had all of this, man. I was suffering as a youngin'. I don't wish what I went through on no child. I had hernias. Man, I had all of this. People don't know this by looking at me, but I had all of that. I suffered from all of that, literally. I used to be hooked up to breathing machines. I used to keep the whole house up because I had a bad wheezing problem. I couldn't even get into water that went beyond my chest because my chest would tighten. Like, I literally was bad off out here. I was bad off out here. It was rough. Change the way that I'm eating. I don't suffer from any of that. I don't suffer from any of that. But if any of you all have had cavities and stuff like that, then y'all know that that's something that's hard to reverse. So I started suffering from cavities and all that stuff when I was like 10, man, as a youngin'. So it's hard to do something about that, man. You just got to get work done in that regards. But other than that, man, when I changed the way that I was eating, man, everything else went away. Everything else went away. But I'm talking hernias, bronchitis, asthma, hooked up to the breathing machines, nosebleeds. I used to get headaches religiously. I'm talking about it. Like, if I didn't get a headache, like, that was a good day. That was a good day. Like, if I'm like, man, I ain't have a headache today, that's crazy. Like, I used to get headaches so often that when I didn't get a headache, it was like a good day. That's crazy. Now, I listen, when I get a headache now, I know something is wrong. But back then, I used to get a headache, and it was like, that's normal. So I used to get headaches on the regular. Now, granted, I played football and all that type of stuff, man, but I used to get headaches outside of that. Now, man, I can't tell you last time I had a severe headache. When I get a headache, like I said, when I get a headache now, I know something is off. I know something is wrong. I know I did something that I wasn't supposed to do. But back in the day when I got a headache, I'm like, man, it's just normal. Here we go, another headache. That's how I used to view headaches back in the day. So when I tell people, man, I'm qualified to talk the way that I talk about meat, not kidding y'all, man. This based off of experience. When I transition, I don't have nosebleeds no more, man. My chest don't do what it used to do. It don't tighten up like that. My breathing got a lot better. Man, I can do endurance training, man. I ran the furthest I've ever been able to run nonstop at a decent pace when I transitioned to the vegan lifestyle. I was never able to run long distances, man, without feeling like I was going to die. But the moment I dropped the meat and the dairy, man, I was able to run 3 miles easily. Like, people couldn't even keep up with me. That ain't never been me. I've never been able to do that. Once I let go of all the meat, all the dairy, man, I was able to run distances, man. Long distances. Something I was never able to do before. And I looked like I was in the best shape known to man back then. So I'm speaking from sheer experience, man. When I tell y'all, going plant-based, man, to reverse a lot of ailments. A lot of ailments. True King, no doubt. Ja Films, what's going on? You already know it. True King, you got it, man. It's definitely a slow process. I sped the process up. I really don't recommend people go as fast as I went with it. But once I got the information that I got, man, because of the conditions and the stuff that I was facing, man, I just felt like on the path that I was on, I felt like I wasn't going to live too much longer. And then at that particular point in time, I had watched a close family member also pass of cancer. So I was like, nah, man, I got to make some moves, man. All of that stuff, it lined up for me. I was like, nah, nope, I ain't going out like that. So I made my change rather quickly because of things that were going on around me and things that were going on inside of me. So it like expedited the process for me. So I was like, man, I ain't trying to go out like that. No. Like, I got control over how I'm gonna go out, man. It's when it comes to this type of stuff, man. I don't have to suffer from these ailments. And once I realized that, man, I took everything into my own hand. Tidon, what's going on with you? Robert Bryce, you say, do you still eat anything hot instead of meat? Yeah, from time to time, man. I still have like my soy-free meat alternatives, man. I still eat those from time to time. Like I said, I ain't 100% like raw or nothing like that yet. That's part of my goal, man, to go like 75 to 80% raw. But I mean, typically I tend to get a lot of raw foods in, man. Like today, man, I had a protein-filled smoothie. Hemp seeds, bananas, and then this little PB powder I got too. Protein filled. I didn't have to go get no protein shake. I just made my own. I didn't have to get anything that's going to destroy my kidneys and things of that nature. Made my own. Hemp seeds, got my omega-3, got my brain food, got my bananas in there, man. So I'm good. I'm rolling. So I tend to, when I get about 2 smoothies in a day, man, I'll be rocking and rolling. So I may do like 2 smoothies and I may get 1 solid meal in. The little hot cooked meal. Beans, quinoa, veggies, steamed veggies, boiled veggies, however you want to do them. If you feel like getting fancy, man, it's a lot of decent vegan meals out here, man. Just got to experiment. Oh, True King, man, I'm still in the gym going hard. I never lost my strength, never. So that's why when people say that, I be looking at them like it's funny. I never lost my strength. I'm still squatting, deadlifting, and bench pressing a lot more. A lot more. Never lost that. Matter of fact, all of that actually became better because my endurance is better. My breathing is better. So it actually helped me in the weight room with my strength. Lindell, I was just talking about that. Yeah, that seafood is just as toxic, especially when you got the mercury, the PCB, and then even the fish can be fattening. Matter of fact, let me drop a jewel on y'all, man. I'm on limited time, but I'm gonna try to drop this jewel on y'all real quick in regards to fish here. I want to give y'all some information. Let me see if I can find this information real quick, man. I want to give y'all this information, man. This is important information, and if I can find it, that will be crucial. Let me see, man. Where is it at? Some very important information when it comes to like fish oil, because a lot of people take those fish oil supplements. No good. But they didn't trick a lot of us into thinking that we need to take the fish oil supplements and things of that nature. Let me read a section from y'all. Let me read a section for y'all. Is fish oil just snake oil? I'm gonna read this whole entire section, man. Y'all can do what y'all want to do with this knowledge. Y'all can do what y'all want to do with this knowledge. Bro, there you go. Them no meat days are crucial, the meatless days. But let me read this. Thanks in part to the American Heart Association's recommendation that individuals at high risk for heart disease should ask their physicians about omega-3 fish oil supplementation. Fish oil pills have grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry. We now consume more than 100,000 tons of fish oil every year. But what does the science say? Are the purported benefits of fish oil supplementation for the prevention and treatment of heart disease just a fishtail? A systematic review and meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Medical Association looked at all the best randomized clinical trials evaluating the effects of omega-3 fats on lifespan, cardiac death, sudden death, heart attack, and stroke. These included studies not only on fish oil supplements, but also studies on the effects of advising people to eat more oily fish. What did they find? Overall, the researchers found no protective benefit for overall mortality, heart disease mortality, sudden cardiac death, heart attack, or stroke. What about for someone who had already had a heart attack and is trying to prevent another? Still no benefit was found. So all this stuff about like fish oil and all that nonsense. But hold on, where do we even get this idea that the omega-3 fats in fish and fish oil supplements are good for you? Here we go. We're going to break down the origin. There was a notion that Eskimos were protected from heart disease, but that appears to be a complete myth. This is where this study originated. This is the origin of this story, if y'all didn't know that. They did the study on the Eskimos. That's why people talk about omega-3 and all this. It comes from a study on Eskimos. All right. So some early studies, however, look promising. For example, the famous DART trial from the 1980s involving 2,000 men found that those advised to eat fatty fish had a 29% reduction in mortality. That's impressive. So it's no wonder the study got a lot of attention. But people seem to have forgotten about the sequel, the DART 2 trial, which found the exact opposite. Run by the same group of researchers, the DART 2 trial was an even bigger study, 3,000 men, but this time participants advised to eat oily fish, and particularly those who were supplied with fish oil capsules had a higher risk of cardiac death. After putting all the studies together, researchers concluded that there was no longer justification for the use of omega-3s in everyday clinical practice. What should doctors do when their patients follow the American Heart Association's advice and inquire about fish oil supplements? As the director of lipids and metabolism at Mount Sinai's Cardiovascular Institute put it, given this and other negative meta-analysis, our job as doctors should be to stop highly marketed fish oil supplementation to all our patients. Come on now. Come on now. Our job as doctors should be to stop highly marketed fish oil supplementation to all our patients. Come on now. That's what they're telling you. This is the information that they're not putting out there, man. They got people thinking fish oil is needed. They got people thinking that you need to take these omega-3 supplements. They just getting y'all money at this point. That's why I don't recommend a lot of supplements, man. They literally just getting your money at this point. And they know the truth. They know the truth. Truth King, this book is called How Not to Die. Here it is. How Not to Die. Y'all know I always come with some sources. But they letting you know right now that these fish oil supplements are no good. They do nothing. They can actually harm you. They know this. They know this. They say that we need not be recommending these fish oil supplements. That's what we should be doing as doctors. They already stated that. But they not living that reality out, man. They got everybody thinking that they need to take these fish oil supplements, these fish oil capsules. That's what they doing. That's what they are doing. That's what they do. See, they don't like the truth getting out here, man. Y'all already know. I don't know if y'all familiar with the story of Oprah when she had the cattle ranch farmer on there or whatever. The dude that was basically letting people know about eating meat and how bad and toxic it was, man. And then they put pressure on Oprah. They put pressure on the meat industry. Put some pressure on her. They put some pressure on Oprah. They like, man, you got this dude on here telling people not to eat this meat, and then you co-signing it. They put pressure on Oprah. They almost listen. They got Oprah to spend a lot of money to defend herself for something like that. Ultimately, Oprah ended up winning the case. But the fact that they was able to put that type of pressure on Oprah and then sold Oprah for all type of money simply because she had somebody on there that told people the negative effects of eating meat, That should tell you a lot. That should tell you a lot. They can literally make you pay when you come out and say eating meat is negative, eating meat is toxic. They came out and put the pressure on Oprah. They put the pressure on Oprah. Come on now. Come on now. So you got to understand what we up against. So when people ask, well, if this was true, then why it ain't more of that out here? Why ain't more people talking about it? Because if you talk about it, they're gonna put that pressure on you. They're gonna apply that pressure on you. Deep like what's going on. They're gonna apply that pressure on you. But the difference between them, I don't mind it. I don't mind. Put the pressure on me. I don't mind it. The truth shall prevail. I don't care. The meat industry can do whatever they want to do, man. The meat industry is a powerful industry. The meat and the dairy industry, powerful industry. At the end of the day, man, the truth is more powerful than all of these industries. The truth is the industry that I subscribe to. I fool with the truth. That's the only industry that I subscribe to. I don't care about any other industry. I subscribe to the truth. So if it's the truth, then that's what I'm going to speak. That's what I'm going to stand for. That's what I'm going to represent. If it's not the truth, then they can have it. But we dealing with the truth. We dealing with the actual facts. We dealing with the actual facts. That's all we need. And again, that lets you know how truthful it was, because they was willing to go to war with Oprah because they had somebody on there saying that, nah, eating meat is negative and you shouldn't be doing it. If it wasn't the truth, then they wouldn't have been out here trying to defend it. They wouldn't have been out here spending money trying to silence Oprah. They wouldn't have did it. They wouldn't have did it. So they know what the truth is, man. They know what the truth is. That's why every time that truth come out, man, they make people spend money. They try to attack. They try to silence. Come on now. They try to ban the video. It ain't no reason why I should have to spend millions of dollars to defend myself because I said eating meat is bad for your health. I shouldn't have to come out of pocket for that. That's childish. So when you people like Oprah, then the small people that know the truth, man, they not about to come out and say nothing. They're gonna keep that to themselves because they don't want to face that fire. They don't want to face that fire. So we gotta know and understand what we dealing with, man. We gotta know and understand the type of people, the type of system that we dealing with. That's what we gotta do. At the end of the day, we gotta understand what we truly dealing with, man. We dealing with a wicked system. They don't want the truth out here. They don't want the truth to prevail. They gonna do everything in their power to suppress the truth. But we gonna do everything in our power to get the truth out and push the truth. That's what we gonna do. That's how we live it. We gonna counter that. We gonna counter that nonsense. We gonna counter that nonsense with sources, with the actual facts, with the truth, with the evidence, whatever you call it. That's what we gonna supply them with. That's what we gonna hit them with. But y'all, man, like I said, I'm dealing with limited time, man. So with that being said, I gotta head up to this gym, man. I'm gonna try to tap in with y'all again tomorrow, man. This is another positive stream. Appreciate everybody commenting on it, man. It's always peace, man. Having y'all tap in with me, man. Y'all could be doing a lot of other things, but y'all choose to tap into me, man. So it's always peace. I appreciate it. Even with the spontaneous lives that I do, man. I don't like to plan out a lot of my lives, man. I just get on here and start building. But with that, I got to make my move, man. I got to get up to this gym and destroy these clients, man. So y'all be peaceful out here. Y'all take it easy. If you didn't catch this live, man, rewind it back and get all the jewels, get all the information. Powerful information was presented. But I'm out, y'all. Y'all be easy. Peace.